Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this great looking 4x4 house. If you don't know what that means, if you don't know what a 4x4 house is, all it simply means is that this house right here would fit into this area that I've laid out on the ground in front of us. So this area is 4 blocks long and 4 blocks wide, which means that the house that I just showed you would slot perfectly onto this little area. I actually really enjoyed designing this house because I really liked trying to get around all of the space restrictions in this house, and this house isn't without a couple of secrets. For instance, not only do we have the upstairs area, but we have a nice little hidden downstairs area with a secret escape and entrance. And if that's one of the secrets that you might have expected, you might not have seen this one coming. If you climb up onto the house and jump into the tree next to the house, you'll notice that you have a nice little hidey area inside here should you ever have to escape your humble little abode for any reason. So guys, if you enjoy houses like this and you'd like to see more in a similar vein, or maybe even smaller, then let me know. Give this video a like and subscribe, I'd love to hear your feedback. But without any further ado, why don't I actually show you how to make this thing? So, if you want to make it, here's what you'll need. Grab yourself some spruce wood, some birchwood planks, some dark oak planks, some dark oak stairs, some birchwood slabs, some dark oak slabs, some black stained glass, and some glowstone. Plus, we need every single other one of those materials that you can see in the inventory right now. Plus, we'll need even more later on. Yeah, we need even more than this. So, you might want to take note of what we have. Pause this video if necessary. Once you've taken note of that, we can then proceed on. So, we want to take our materials, and we want to figure out where we're going to be making this house. I'm going to be making it right about here, I think. And I'm going to begin this house with a row of 2 birchwood planks coming directly up from the ground. That is 1 and 2. Then, from this birchwood plank, what I want to do is I want to move backwards from these 2 planks, and I want to move backwards from the planks by 1 with the black stained glass. So just add a layer of black stained glass behind the birchwood planks. And behind the glass, add a layer of spruce wood. So that is 1 and 2 spruce wood behind the glass. You then want to take the bottom spruce wood, looking back on our house now, and you want to go left of it by 2 with the birchwood planks. That's 1 and 2. Place glass on top of the birch wood. Then, going left of the glass and the birch wood, do a layer of spruce wood. Then, coming to the front of our house again. Now, looking back at what we've just made, what we first of all want to do is take this bottom spruce wood and extend it towards us by 2 with the birchwood planks. That's 1 and 2. Then, take the upper spruce wood and extend it towards us by 3 with the black stained glass. That's 1, 2, and 3. Then, take that glass, extend it to the left by 1, connect it down to the ground to give us this shape. It's a pretty abstract shape. Well, what we now want to do is, on top of this house, starting from the very back right hand corner where we have this showing spruce wood, we want to place a dark oak stair on top of it. Then moving forward, we would then want to do 2 birchwood stairs coming towards the front of the house, 1 and 2. Then do a dark oakwood stair. Then take each one of these stairs and extend them across the house using your respective slab color. So where we have this dark oak wood stair, we want to extend it across the house by 3 with the dark oak slabs. That's 1, 2, 3. And where you have birch, do the same, but with birch. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So you want to have something which should look like this. It's a nice stripy roof, and if you want to get ahead of yourself ever so slightly, you may want to knock out this block in the roof. Yeah, that block specifically. You might just want to knock that out. Okay, next thing we're going to do here is we are going to take the row underneath the front of the house, starting from in front of this very first birchwood plank that we placed. We're going to knock this block out, then the one next to it, the one underneath the glass, and the one just right of it as well. So you want to knock out this row of 4 here. And then you want to place a layer of spruce wood, preferably placed sideways, just directly underneath the house, like that. If you like, you can also just change the glass on the side, although it's not going to make much of a difference later on. But you want to have something which should look like this. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to grab ourselves a material that we don't actually have, or 2 materials that we don't have, and we're going to grab a dark oak door, We're also going to grab a dark oak fence. We're going to place dark oak fence in front of the birchwood planks on the front left-hand side of the house. So in front of the front left-hand side of the house, we want to place the dark oak fence in front of the birchwood slabs, and we want to place a dark oak door on the inside of the empty space that we have on the front of the house. So it's important that we place it on the inside, and it wants to be where you would expect the entrance to be, the only place that we actually have a hole in the house. And the reason that we've placed it on the inside like this, so it opens the opposite way, is because otherwise it would stick out. That's quite important. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to just decorate the outside of the house a little bit by grabbing a flower pot, and we're going to grab a flower pot and place it in the very front bottom right hand space of the house. If you like, you can also place a flower in there if a flower will actually place, because I'm not sure we should have that glass above it, and it does. I'm choosing a poppy because poppies are my favourite. Okay, so now that the general structure of the house is done, it's probably time for us to add some details. So I'm going to get rid of everything that I have in the inventory, and I'm going to grab things like I'm going to grab a bed, a crafting table, a furnace. I'll actually need some ladders, a wooden trap door. I'll also need a painting if I have them, which I do. And that will probably do us for now. Oh, actually, we'll also need some chests. Okay, let me show you what we're going to do. So, inside the house here, I'm going to place a bed. There's actually only really two positions that you can place the bed. Coming across the back here, or where I'm going to place it here, on the very right hand side. Underneath the bed, however, we want to have a double chest underneath it. So I'm going to destroy one block underneath the bed, place a chest. I'm going to destroy the next block, place a double chest. There we go. Also, it doesn't matter that you've destroyed any ground inside of your house, because we are, of course, going to turn it into a little underground base. I'm also going to place a painting just above the bed, because I like paintings. Directly left of the back of the bed, I'm going to place a crafting table with a furnace on top of it. And I want to place ladders on those. I've actually just pressed the wrong button. If you want to place ladders on them easily, just click in your right analog stick and you shouldn't have any trouble placing any ladders. Thank you for those of you that let me know down there in the comments. That's actually a really good tip. Okay, so the bottom of the house, underneath it, is actually going to be a little hidden underground base. So dig out an area underneath your house that you're comfortable with to turn it into a base. So maybe you're going to be like me, and you really only want to dig an area that's like an area that is as big as the house. So underneath here, I'm going to have like a little 4x4 chamber, because I don't want it to extend out any further than the house does, really. So I'm only going to have an area like this to kind of play around with underneath the house. However, you may want to have a much more extensive, giant cave tunnel underneath your house that leads to perhaps like a mine or something crazy like that. I don't. So underneath here, and by the way, you still have access to the chest. Underneath here, I'm going to just place a wooden trap door. So this allows us access to and fro our little underground tunnel, and it means that we are actually able to walk around upstairs, which is incredibly important. So, and if we ever want to drop down, bloop, we're down. Okay, so that's the cave itself. However you want to decorate it, that is completely up to you. However, one thing that I would 100% do is add a way to get out of the cave. And the easiest way to do this is to come back up from outside of the house and to come to the side of the house. Any one of the sides, it doesn't really matter which. And luckily for us, we already have this block destroyed here on the left hand side of our house, so we'll use this. So I'm going to dig down into the dirt, and I'm going to dig down until I actually drop into the cave. It's kind of coincidental that I actually had that block destroyed anyway, but we've dropped down into the cave. This is going to be our means of escape and entering the house if we don't want to enter via the main entrance. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to dig a moat around the house. I want to have a moat around the house. This moat serves as a little bit of a protection for the house. It also looks good, but it is also going to disguise how we're going to get down into the actual cave. So we're going to grab some wooden trapdoors, some water buckets, and something like cobblestone. So I'm going to place, first of all, a wooden trapdoor here just above where we would actually drop into the little cave. And I'm going to place water everywhere around our moat. So we're just going to add the water portion of the moat. like this. That's perfect, it's now still. I'm also going to add a cobblestone here that just connects us to our house. And as a matter of fact, I might even add an additional cobblestone here. There we go. Just so that it looks like it connects to the house more. I understand that I'll have to add a door later. But now what we can do is we can access our little underground cave. We don't get any water, and we also have a means of getting out, so we can actually jump up into the water. If we were one block higher, that's something that you might have to work on, so you might have to use a stair. I've actually dug a little too high in my little cave, but a stair will work, and you can just hop up or out. It's completely up to you. Or you can simply dig your cave one block higher, and then you wouldn't have that problem. So that is how you would access and exit your little underground cave. But what do you want to decorate it with? Maybe you want some enchantment tables, some paintings, maybe you want some item frames, maybe you would like a little bit of a seat, so some lime hardened clay maybe, and maybe another birch wood stairs, and perhaps you want to grab yourself a bookshelf, and maybe you even want like a brewing stand and an anvil, and maybe even a beacon, something like that. And you could quite easily make yourself a nice little space down here, so you could have a nice little bookshelf area here. You could have a little seat, you could have yourself a nice little enchantment table next to it, you could place an item frame above any one of those, or maybe you want to have a beacon next to that little enchantment table, and maybe you want to place inside those two things. Maybe you want to place something relevant. Maybe you want to put yourself an Eye of Ender in there, and maybe you want to put like a diamond, so maybe like an Eye of Ender in here and a diamond in there, and maybe you want a nice little chair in here, which could be a lime hardened clay, and you could have like a birchwood stairs. And if you wanted to improve that ever so slightly, you could grab like a wooden trap door. You could also throw yourself a nice little flower pot on there if you so chose, which kind of looks like a little bit of a cup. And you could also, if you wanted to, have an anvil down here. Although you don't want to drop on the anvil, that'd probably hurt. An anvil and a brewing stand, and you have yourself a nice little space down here now, don't you? And if you wanted to, of course, I can get rid of those materials. I doubt we'll need them again. You could put some carpet down here anywhere that you wanted. You could also destroy the ground underneath it as well, so that you can have like proper flooring, and you could also just throw a painting on the wall, just to kind of make it your own little space. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but this is a pretty nice looking space, and if we ever want to leave our underground cave, and by the way, I don't know why we have lost our trap door up there, and if you ever want to leave the little cave, all you have to do is just exit via the little trapdoor waterway that we have on the left hand side, and that is pretty wonderful, isn't it? Why don't I replace that door whilst I'm actually up here, because it's actually driving me insane. That door should be there. There we go, wonderful. So that's the inside of your house, pretty much complete. There's nothing more to add, or at least nothing for me to add. All that I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to do the outside of the house, how to make it look a little bit nicer. So I'm going to grab some dark oak wood stairs, I'm going to grab some birchwood slabs. I also need some dark oak slabs. I could actually use the birchwood stairs as well, and I also need the birchwood fence. I'm also going to grab a bit of glowstone. We need those wooden trapdoors again. And we will also need a little bit of grass, just to mix things up a bit, and some cobblestone, and we shouldn't need too much else. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to extend the little entrance that we have outwards by 2, so 1 and 2, like this. I want to have an area of 1 that I can walk around our house. So I want to be able to walk around our house, because I don't want to have to swim in the moat to do it. So I'm going to just plant a little bit of grass life around it. And I'm also going to plant a little bit of cobblestone as well, just to kind of surround the house, just to show that there is some sort of path to kind of lure people around the house, honestly. And if you wanted to have something kind of like non-discreet to show people that you can actually enter the house in a different fashion, you could put something interesting on the left-hand side, maybe even if it's just as simple as a flower or something like that, to show people that that's where the entrance is, or maybe just to remind yourself. So around the house, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to have, on each one of the 4 corners of the house, I'm going to have I'm going to place a glowstone. Well, I'm kind of contradicting myself because on the front right-hand corner, I'm going to have glowstone. On the back right-hand corner, I'm going to have glowstone. And on the back left-hand corner, I'm going to have a glowstone. From each one of those glowstones, I want to have a dark oak wood stairs pointing inwards to each one of the other glowstones. And on top of those glowstones, I want to have dark oak wood slabs placed on top of them to inhibit the light a little bit. Then I want to place wooden trapdoors on the outer parts of the glowstone, again, because I don't want like full-on glowstone light, I want just a little bit, if that makes sense. I don't want to see the glowstone that much. What I'm now going to do is on the front left-hand corner of the house, I want something a bit different. I want to place a spruce wood. And on top of the spruce wood, I want to place 2 birch fence, 1 and 2. I then want to place a dark oak wood stairs facing inwards. Then I want to place a dark oak wood slab. Underneath the slab, a glowstone. Then I want to place wooden trapdoors on the front, right and back of the glowstone, like this. I then want to place the same dark oak wood stairs coming inwards from each side of the spruce wood, and now I want to place a birch wood slab coming inwards from each one of the 2 front dark oak wood stairs, but I then want to connect all of the other dark oak wood stairs together with a layer of birch wood slabs, and this will complete majoritively the outside of the house. Now we have a little bit of light surrounding the house, we have a nice little lantern, and we can access the cave of our house, but there is one thing missing. So what we are missing is a tree. I always like a tree. I don't know why, it's just my personal preference to have a tree involved somewhere. So I'm going to place a tree in the very middle of the house on the right hand side. Well, you can't really get the very middle of the house per se, you can choose one of these 2 blocks, but I'm going to place mine, say here. I'm going to place an oak wood sapling, I'm going to grab it with a bone meal. That's a pretty tiny tree. As you may have saw at the very start of this video, we had a pretty big tree. So I'm going to extend this tree artificially with oak wood leaves. Now, obviously, it is much better if you get a natural massive tree. It's much better if you get a massive natural tree. I suppose I was just very, very lucky in my actual creative world when I was making this, and I just coincidentally got a huge, massive tree. We have to make ours a bit bigger. That's what I'm doing now. Now, it doesn't look exactly like a proper tree, does it? It kind of looks a little bit weird. It looks as though it's been made, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to leave it like that. What I want to do, however, is I want to make the tree accessible. I want to make it so that you can actually enter the tree, and you can actually use the tree in some sort of fashion. Now, you can make the tree bigger if you like. You can make the tree much bigger. But the general message that I want to have with this tree here is I would suggest, because it's kind of a cool idea, to have like some sort of escape tree. That you have a tree that you can kind of just like, that you can kind of just be in the center of, like have it hollowed out, probably in a better fashion than I have here, like make it not so obvious, but a tree that's kind of like hollowed out that you can like move through, that you can walk into, walk around. You can have something hidden in here if you want to. Can you place tress in trees? Of course you can. How silly of me. You could even place it like right behind here just to keep it very, very hidden. You could have some supplies and you could just enter up the tree right here, and then you could very easily just, I don't know, slink away off into the night if you so chose. I just think it's kind of a cool idea to add to a house that you don't see every day, and you can have it as small as you like, or just like at the start of this video, you could have a huge tree that has loads of stuff in it. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is my 4x4 house. I got loads of requests to make it. I'm so glad I did. I love it when I have a challenge. I like when I have a particular rule set to build a house by. Like, it's really hard to make a wooden house, or at least it is for me, to make a wooden house that looks good with just so fewer blocks. It's easier with modern houses, but to make a house that is actually quite functional in every single way and to have so little blocks to work with, it's really kind of difficult for me. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please give this video a like. I'd really appreciate that. Comment down below, would you like to see this? I did see somebody suggest to make a 3x3 block house, which would look completely different from this. I don't know how I would even do that, but maybe if you guys want it, I'd make it. Check out the cards, check out the description below for all of my other biome houses and small house series, as you might be able to see over there in the background, and some other stuff that I'm sure that you guys would like to see. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love it if you guys could do that. Check out my Twitter at TSMC360 if you make this house or anything like it, or if you just want to show me what you've been working on, show me there. I'd love to see what you guys have been up to. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.